And we also offer really great insurance here, too, so that's a plus. It's cheap. Oh, that's great, man, because, I need insurance, so that's awesome. That's a great benefit. Yeah, man, for a single person, only $70 a week. That's great, isn't it? Yeah, but, so, actually, I'm married, and my wife's job doesn't offer insurance, so I'm going to need to put her on my insurance also. Then that's going to be about $500 a week, bitch. Yeah, kiss them fucking paychecks goodbye. Kiss them fucking paychecks goodbye. You ain't making shit. You thought you was making $25 an hour, but I'm gonna take my $500. They gonna take theirs. Oh yeah. Well, I also have 2 kids. Oh my God, you got 2 kids. We fucking own you. That's gonna be $650 a week, motherfucker. $650 a week. You work for free now, bitch. You work for free now. Don't give a fuck how much you make afterwards. We taking ours. This all sounds too expensive, man. This all sounds too expensive. I'm not going to... Too fucking bad, fat boy. Too fucking bad. You gotta do it by law or they're gonna fine you. That's right. You broke fat bitch. Hope you like being broke, fat bitch. Yeah.
Penalties are appropriate for people who try to free ride the system and force others to pay for their health insurance.
President Obama says fines are okay if you don't have health care coverage or bother to get it. The judge, Ada Napolitano, says these fines are okay too if you don't believe in something called the Constitution. Judge, this is a big no-no on your part. Huh?
Well, the government wants to order you to purchase something. That's never happened in 230 years of America, that the federal government ordered individuals to buy something that they may not want, that they may not need, that they may not be able to afford. And then the government says, if you don't purchase it, we're going to fine you, and if you don't pay the fine, we're going to put you in jail.
It hardly ever feels like insurance is ever a choice. That's because it scarcely is. Most insurance is mandated, leaving the choice up to somebody else and not you. The question is, who is responsible? Insurance companies are making deals with certain politicians and government officials, so it is mandated, or in other words, to force it on the people. Even worse than that, insurance is a scam to begin with. All of that money you shell out, where do you think it goes?
Mr. President, yesterday, Chuck Schumer, Minority Leader of the United States Senate, came to the floor with his most recent ransom note. Of course, it wasn't serious. It's dead on arrival. Senator Schumer is demanding that the U.S. government send a check directly to the insurance companies of America for the tune of tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars, right from the government, mainlined into the bank accounts of the insurance companies of America. Since Obamacare was passed by Democrats, and not a single voter, not a single Republican voted for it in the House and the Senate, Democrats alone, the costs of health care in this country have skyrocketed. You know what, Mr. President? So have the stock prices of the insurance companies.
Do you guys remember the San Jose gun insurance? If you're going to own a gun, you have to pay a fee to a nonprofit, and you have to carry insurance. Yeah, that came out of Sam Liccardo's government in San Jose.
I need an MRI on my back because I hurt my back. My clinic sent it over to a hospital. They ran it through my insurance. They called me and said, hey, your portion of it that you're going to have to pay after insurance is $5,100 for this MRI. So I'm like, wow, okay. I was like, before we do that, just wait, because I'm like, $5,100 just seems wild. I called another place who was also waiting for my insurance to go through to see how much it was going to be. My insurance was still on hold with them, but I asked them, hey, if I just cash pay this, how much is it going to cost for this MRI? And they're like, well, if you just want to cash pay it, not run anything through insurance, it's $700. And so I'm like, sounds a lot better than $5,100. So I called the original hospital back and said, hey, if I don't run this through insurance, what is the cost if I just decide to self-pay it, since I know the other place is $700? The lady's like, I'll rerun it under you being self-pay and I'll call you back with your total. So a few minutes go by, the lady calls me back and she goes, hey, I talked to my supervisor. Since you have insurance, we are not going to let you self-pay it, so we won't give you that number. How is that not a scam? Isn't it my choice if I want to self-pay something versus running it through my insurance?
So, even though Donald Trump has set a 2019 deadline for the removal of the individual health insurance mandate on American citizens, now state politicians are trying to do the exact same thing.
We're getting rid of the individual mandate. That individual mandate.
The people of these places are represented by people who are telling them they must do something. Now, why would supposed representatives tell these people that they have to get health insurance when the people could just do it themselves?
Republican Governor Phil Scott signed a state mandate into law last month. It replaces the federal one that Congress has repealed. Officials hope it will keep people from fleeing the state's insurance market.
Insurance mogul Greg Lindbergh pleaded guilty yesterday to money laundering and fraud. His plea is part of a $2 billion scheme that prosecutors say harmed thousands of policyholders. He faces up to 15 years in prison if he's convicted. Back in 2020, Lindbergh was sentenced to 7 years for attempting to bribe a North Carolina elected official. His conviction was vacated by an appeals court then.
Breaking right now at noon, a federal jury in Charlotte has just found an insurance mogul and his associate guilty of trying to bribe the state's insurance commissioner. The jury found Greg Lindbergh and John Gray guilty of trying to bribe Insurance Commissioner Mike Causey to get Causey to replace the top regulator in his office. The same jury found another defendant, John Palomero, not guilty. Palomero's attorney had argued there was no evidence tying him to the bribery scheme. The former chairman of the state's Republican Party, Robin Hayes, already pleaded guilty in connection with the case.
I'm John Shainman in Martin County. On a beautiful sunny day like this, you're probably not thinking about flood insurance. But if you become a new policyholder of Citizens Insurance starting on April 1st, you'll be required to have flood insurance.
If they have wind coverage on their Citizens policy, to purchase a flood policy if they're in a special hazard area. And then eventually, over time, they're requiring all the renewals effective in 2027 to eventually purchase a flood policy.
The flood policies can range from hundreds to thousands of dollars a year. The average falls between $600 and $700 annually.
And speaking of scams, life insurance. Life insurance is a scam. Let me tell you why. So you mean to tell me I'm paying for my own death? That's not morbid. Gee. So if I don't have a life insurance plan and I die, now my family has to scramble and figure out how to afford to bury me. Why do we have to pay to be buried anyway? Why are coffins so expensive? Why is the hole to put me in the ground so expensive? Why is the whole service so expensive? Why is the bombing? Why is all this stuff so expensive? Why does it cost to die?
You're trained to determine the extent and cause of the damage and how much it costs to repair it. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let me just ask you about Ms. Miguel's claim. You were assigned to reinspect her home. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you testified earlier that you went about that diligently. You could see that there was very extensive damage. That was your initial impression. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And you reviewed all of the reports. There was an engineer's report by this time. There was the public adjuster's report. You reviewed all of those things diligently. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
When you submitted your report to Allstate recommending several $100,000 worth of payments to Ms. Miguel and her husband, what happened then?
My estimate was rejected, and I was advised to alter it to a lower figure.
So you were told to alter the estimate and to alter your findings as well?
I was told to alter my estimate. I don't know that the findings was told to be altered.
Were the alterations that you were told to make, were those consistent with your own review of the property and your own assessment of the damage?
No, sir.
Did you write that up in a detailed estimate, what you were told to do?
I did, yes, sir.
And Allstate then, they send that estimate ultimately to the property owner, is that correct?
I'm obligated to send the estimate to the policyholder.
And is there any record anywhere the policyholder would ever know that your initial findings, your recommendations were rejected and somebody told you to come in and alter them?
No, sir.
Let me just ask you more broadly. have you ever been told in other cases with Allstate to alter or delete your findings?
Absolutely.
In fact, you testified just a second ago, I think, that you were frequently asked to alter factual findings, delete material, and sometimes include items that were false. Did I hear you correctly when you said that?
Yes, sir.
In the overwhelming majority of cases where you were asked to do something like this, did that cause the estimate to the policyholder to go up or to go down?
To go down.
What is your assessment of what Allstate's ultimate goal here is? Is it to pay out the policy according to the terms of the policy to the best extent they can, or is it to protect their bottom line and to use you and your report as necessary to meet that end, to make sure they make as much money as possible?
100% to use me to enable them to make as much money as possible.
And you would say that this is a pattern. This isn't just something that happened one time like in Ms. Miguel's case. You've been doing this for a long time, and you've observed this to be a pattern with Allstate and in the industry.
I have, yes, sir.
I'm so annoyed right now. I just called the imaging place in Missoula because I have a little lump I can feel like right here, and I want to get it checked out. And I don't want to go to the doctor and get a referral and do all this bullshit. I just want to go to the place that's going to image it so they can take a look at it and do an MRI or a sonogram, whatever the hell they're going to do. And unfortunately, I just called the ear, nose, and throat place, and they're like, no, you can go get a referral from this person, then go to this person, and then you can come to us and we can image it. And I was like, well, I don't have insurance. I just want to pay cash. Can I just come in and get an image of my face? Can you use your image machine and look at my face and give me what you've come up with by looking at those images? I just want to know what that costs me out of pocket. No, sir, you'll have to go to another person that's going to charge you ridiculous amounts of money for 10 seconds of their time to refer you over to here so we can charge you ridiculous amounts of money for 20 seconds of our time. Now, to be clear, I don't have medical insurance because I make too much money to qualify for Medicaid or free medical insurance, and every time I try and get medical insurance, they want me to come out of pocket some astronomical amount to pay for tests and all kinds of things to make sure I'm a good candidate for their medical insurance. It is fucking ridiculous. Insurance is a scam. The healthcare system in America is so beyond fucked up. I hate it here sometimes. I really can't stand it. Okay, I don't hate America. I calm down a little bit. I love America. I just hate the healthcare system. All right, that's it. Have a good day.
So I was like, well, how do we know that? I mean, what do you mean she was injured? It was a very, very light accident. And so what if she was injured? Last I checked, the only conceivable point of having car insurance is in case something like this happens. That's what car insurance is supposed to be for, in theory. When you think about if there is any rational reason why you would need to have car insurance, it is for the purpose that if at one point during the 75% of your life that you're in a fucking car, you happen to get in an accident, you're not completely fucked. So, why, if I got in one accident, am I fucked anyway? Because the last time that I checked, the reason I was paying for this fucking shit, $200 a month, $300 a month, was in case anything happened, right? So then why, if something happens, then am I not allowed to have the insurance that I fucking paid for in case something happened?
On today's episode of It's All Fake, insurance. The price of insurance, no matter the industry, whether it be life insurance, health insurance, car insurance, dental, vision, you name it, has raised hundreds to thousands of % in price. Life insurance is the second most profitable industry in our country at a rate of $276 billion. A huge chunk of the blame goes out to Obamacare, which made it illegal not to have health insurance, so you got penalized on your taxes for not having it. Otherwise, you could sign up for them, and you'll get very, how do I put it, useless insurance. Recently myself, I ran a check evaluation to see how much my premium would be monthly, just for myself, with no family, no sicknesses in the last, let's say, 10 years that would cause me to need insurance, etc. And it seems to be that they want $950 a month as my premium, plus a $12,000 deductible. If you can do some quick math, that's around $24,000 a year before my insurance covers anything.
So in France, there was an elderly, wealthy businessman who got out life insurance for millions of dollars. He got the COVID vaccine and he died. So the life insurance company is not paying out because they decided that the COVID vaccine is a medical experiment, and death from a medical experiment is not a covered entity. Furthermore, even the judge says that the side effects from the vaccine are well known. They've been made public. There's absolutely no way that this gentleman could not have known the side effects. He willingly chose to get the vaccine, and he died as a result. And because it was a choice, they're calling it a suicide.
Can you repeat the part of the stuff where you said all about the things?
And suicides, along with deaths from experimental drugs, are not covered in life insurance. So I know what you're thinking. Oh, that happened in France. That would never happen in the US. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but the American Life Insurance Council has also said that life insurance policies may deny payment if you die from the COVID-19 vaccine because they are experimental drugs. There you go. This is something we thought might happen. We're seeing it happen. You might want to check your policy.
Insurance companies operate very much like Ponzi schemes. Their entire business model is collecting a large pool of money from a large amount of people and then paying out a smaller amount to a few people. The few investors who do get paid out will get more money than what they contributed, but the majority of people will put money into this fund and never see any money out in return. These companies don't actually come out and fix your house or your car. Their only service is collecting a pool of money and then paying out a smaller pool of that money, and then profit the difference. Sounds a lot like a Ponzi scheme to me.
Whenever they bill $200 for the full repair, the insurance company gives them $20. So then they bill $2,000 so that then the insurance company will give them $200 to cover the actual cost. This same thing applies to the medical field where, let's say you get a $20 or $30 back adjustment from a chiropractor. Well, the bill to your insurance is going to be $300 because they're only going to give 10% back instead of billing $30 and they cover $30. Not to mention things like Medicare for All, where I myself worked as an agent and we were paid silly large amounts of money. Our electric bills were covered, our internet bills were covered, our phone bills were covered. Also, we could give all of these benefits away to people who qualified. It was like a $60,000 contract for 90 days, plus covering all of my expenses. That money comes directly out of the taxpayer's pocket to cover. So you can't afford health or life or vehicle insurance because your taxes are so high. Meanwhile, the government is taking that money that they took from you and giving it to agents in 3, 4, 5 times the amount of income that they should be earning, so that then they can give away benefits provided by those tax dollars to people who just qualify for it, meaning usually elderly people, people who refuse to work, people who can't work, kind of like the EBT recipients. And lastly, I've noticed a large uptick in State Farm owners getting into the government. This is the mayor of Wichita Falls, Texas, Tim Short. He is the owner of a State Farm agency, and if you look at his policies, it's almost like he wants to expand State Farm around that city, around surrounding regions, etc. Yet the city has a homelessness, drug addict problem, their wages are poverty level, and the electric grid is running into the ground while pricing on that electricity is higher than it's ever been in history. Insurance is a scam.
Insurance is a scam. Prove me wrong. If you're ill in some type of way, which most Americans are, they will either deny you or they simply won't pay you out. But they'll take your money. If you smoke or do weed, which most Americans do, they can deny you or not pay you out. If you stop paying even once, maybe an overdraft or anything happens that even isn't your fault, your policy will lapse and they owe you absolutely nothing. Life insurance is betting on your life expectancy. They know mathematically most people won't get paid out because most people don't die that often, hence why they're a profitable company. You are betting on a tragedy. They are betting on a statistic that is very profitable and have you all fooled. The industry is built on people hoping for protection, but realistically, mathematically, and statistically, most people don't die during their entire policy. It goes to waste. That's usually what happens. And that's the truth. That's why they're so profitable. They're lying to you. Open your eyes.